Yeah. Happy Halloween. And what up, YouTubers and wrestling fans? That's Deuce is the name, talking wrestling is the game. Happy Halloween. As you can see, I'm old school Oliver Queen. Fun day today, but last night is what I want to talk about. Hell in a Cell. And on the kickoff show, it was Lince Dorado, it was Sin Cara, and it was Cedric Alexander against Drew Gulak, Tony Nese, and Ari Daivari. Again, another six-man cruiserweight tag team match that made exactly no sense. Didn't matter who won because they were fighting for nothing. They really need to go back to the drawing board. But we'll get into that because these cruiserweights are not being written well, storyline-wise. So, to kick off, Hell in a Cell was a Hell in a Cell match, and it was Rusev against Roman Reigns for the United States title. And if you don't believe that Roman Reigns is John Cena Superman 2.0, then just go back and watch that match. Rusev threw everything at Roman Reigns except the kitchen sink, and he still couldn't beat Roman. Very mad. Very mad at that. But what are you gonna do? That's what happens when Vince just loves you so much. Roman Reigns goes over again. Rusev looked like a maniac, though. He looked like a monster. He looked really good, even in the loss. So I guess it's not a bad thing. Then, I'm not going in any particular order. Bayley and Dana Brooke. Bayley goes over Dana Brooke, but Dana Brooke still looks okay. Yeah, about that match. Never mind, Bayley win. Enzo Amore and Big Cass against the Club. And hallelujah, it must be Christmas, not Halloween, because the Club wins a match. The Club goes over clean, over Enzo Amore and Cass. In the ring, 1, 2, 3, but again, Big Cass still looked like $1 million trillion, which could only mean that Vince is as high as ever on Big Cass. He looked dominant in that ring last night. He made Gallows and Anderson look like fools more than once, even though the Club still got the win. And kudos to the commentators for pumping up the Club, talking about their past accomplishments and saying that they will do anything to get back into the tag team title hunt, because that's exactly what they need to do. They need to do exactly anything, whatever it takes. Next up, we had Kevin Owens against Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. And holy fucking shit, what a match. Perfectly booked Hell in a Cell match. Exactly what Hell in a Cell matches should be. Good wrestling, but they had some extreme cage spots using the cell. There was tables, diagonal tables, and lateral tables, and vertical tables, and horizontal tables, and we had a powerbomb over the top rope in the tables. It was a fucking barn burner, knockdown, drag out fight. But in the end, Chris Jericho slimed his way into the cage during a referee distraction and helped Kevin Owens beat Seth Rollins after a pop-up powerbomb through 2 chairs. Then Chris Jericho, to add insult to injury, code breaker on Seth Rollins, and Rollins sold it so well. It was amazeballs. But no Triple H, so I don't know what's going on with that. Still no explanation as to why Triple H chose Kevin Owens over Seth. Survivor Series is right around the corner. Maybe we'll find out then. Next up, we had TJP against Brian Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick, for the for the Raw Cruiserweight title. TJP and Brian Kendrick have been going at it since the Cruiserweight Series ended. Brian wanted TJ to lay down for him. That didn't happen, but Brian Kendrick still schemed his way to a victory, faking a knee injury, goading TJ into thinking he was hurt. He wasn't, hits him with a headbutt, puts him in the captain's hook or the bully lock. And it was over for TJ Perkins, is no longer the Cruiserweight title holder, and now Brian Kendrick is the new Cruiserweight champion, which is great because they needed a heel champion, but it has to be back to the drawing board for those Cruiserweights because they have no idea what's going on. Who's going to face Brian Kendrick next? Does TJ get an automatic rematch because he was the champion? We don't know. I don't think that should happen, but we'll have to wait and see. Then we had... back to the action. The tag team titles were on the line when the New Day, minus Kofi Kingston, so it was Xavier Woods and Big E, against Sheamus and Cesaro, who finally seemed to be getting on the same page And last night they dominated the tag team champions, which there was a little bit of a scuffle outside. So Kofi Kingston, as Cesaro, had Xavier Woods in the sharpshooter. Xavier Woods tapped, but the referee turned around as that happened and saw Kofi Kingston hit Sheamus with the Trouble in Paradise. So the New Day got disqualified. A little bit of confusion there because the New Day is supposed to be the good guys, correct? Supposedly they're the good guys. But they were booked as the heels last night, much like they were when they first started until they got over. Listen, the New Day is so white hot that they could lose and still be the most popular tag team in the tag team division. But because of the disqualification last night, Sheamus and Cesaro might win the match, but they don't win the tag team titles. The New Day still have, I don't know, about 4.5 weeks to 5 weeks until they break Demolition's record, 470 something days. And then we had the main event, the Women's Championship, the Raw Women's Championship, Sasha Banks against Charlotte. And before the match even started, they didn't drop the cage. I like how they let the girls come out first, then they announced them, and then the cage dropped, making it more of an occasion. It was history, the first time 2 women have ever main evented a major pay-per-view, or a pay-per-view for that matter. I wouldn't call Hell in a Cell major. And the first time that the women were ever in a Hell in a Cell. Before the match even started though, Charlotte attacked Sasha, throw her outside. I thought she was gonna get crushed by the cell, but that didn't happen. Then they climbed up maybe 7 or 8 feet off the ground up the cell. Charlotte dropped to her knees. Sasha kind of got caught up there, in which Charlotte grabbed her and power bombed her through a table. Now, we all know Sasha's back injuries. They really played up these back injuries in this match, and Sasha was unable to compete. As they were announcing Charlotte, the new women's champ, Sasha jumps off the stretcher, runs back into the cell, and demands the cell door to be shut, and the match started. So we had our women's championship match. There were some botched spots, there were some table spots that didn't work, but this is what I was afraid of happening. Kudos to those women for putting on the match of a lifetime every other time, but this time they couldn't get it right. They couldn't follow Seth and Kevin. That was a bad thing. I think this was the first and last time that this will ever happen. I don't think we see the girls in the cell again. It was a competitive back and forth, but they weren't allowed to wrestle that much. They kept trying to do those table spots. Charlotte barely went through a table. Sasha got, the finish was so weird. There was a table set up in the corner, but not in the corner. It was in the ring. The legs were on the ring. It wasn't set up, vertically like that to the corner. But Sasha got thrown on the table 3 times and it didn't get broke. The table didn't break. Fans were confused, you could tell. But the last time, Charlotte throws Sasha on the table, hits natural selection, and wins the women's championship. So Sasha wins the title. Then Charlotte beats Sasha. Then Sasha wins it back. Then Charlotte beats Sasha at Hell in a Cell, making Charlotte a 3-time women's champ. And what's going to happen with Charlotte, I don't know, but Raw starts in a few hours. Hell in a Cell gets a strong B. Not a B+, not a B-, not an A, but a B. It was a solid show. All the way through it, it was a solid show top to bottom. They really need to rework these cruiserweights. That was never more evident than it was last night during the Brian Kendrick TJ Perkins match, where the crowd literally sat on their hands. I get it, it was right after Owens and Rollins, but still, Kendrick and Perkins are great workers. They deserved more than they got last night. Cedric Alexander, Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, all these guys, they're all great workers. They deserve better writing than what they're getting. Let's see what happens on Raw tonight with the cruiserweights. Let's see what happens with New Day, Sheamus, and Cesaro, because I'm still holding that up in the air. The club has got a big win under their belt, finally. I think they continue to dominate tonight. I think maybe they give them Golden Truth and have the club tear through them. What's next for Kevin Owens? Well, On Raw Talk, which is Raw's answer to Talking Smack after the pay-per-view, Roman Reigns set out and challenged Kevin Owens. He said he wants the Universal title. So I guess Roman Reigns and Rusev are done for now, and Roman won't be defending that United States title anytime soon. He also dissed Seth Rollins, saying that he couldn't get it done, have the US title and the world title at the same time, even though he did. And so what if it was only for one night? He still got it done. But tune into Raw tonight. Remember, no gimmicks needed here on Let's Talk Wrestling. Just me, the camera, and you, the viewer. So like, share, subscribe, and comment in the link. Comment in the comment section. Tell me what you thought of Hell in a Cell. And never forget to tell a friend about Let's Talk Wrestling. Hell in a Cell, solid B. Let's watch Raw tonight. Happy Halloween.